I finished listening to the podcast, The Left Right Game, which is about an urban legend. It's a ghost story where you take the first left, the next right, the next left, the next right. Eventually you go through a tunnel, and then everything changes. You're in a new metaphysical realm where stranger and stranger things start to happen. But you have to keep playing by the rules. The left, the right, the left, the right, if you want to keep going. And people have documented the trip. There's a hitchhiker. If you don't behave appropriately when he appears in your car, there are consequences to that. There are consequences if you take a wrong turn, of course. And I listened to this podcast. I finished it. It's about 8 or 9 episodes, about 40 minutes each. And I wasn't sure when I finished it if I liked the ending or not. I'll try not to spoil it, but there's the type of story that tries to cleverly make the ending the beginning and then loop itself, the beginning as the ending. And a lot of writers try to do this because they think it'll just be cool to do, but it's very hard to make it mean anything. But my first reaction, the concept of Prima Facie, on the first face of things, I hated it. I hated the ending. Because I thought, well, first my feeling was they didn't pull it off, and it just felt like I had wasted the first 8 episodes, which I enjoyed. But that there is why I'm considering that maybe it wasn't a botched ending. I believe, because part of the moral was that the journey is as important as where you end up. And so I think that a lot of the idea behind the ending was that a big desire of humanity is to be its own cause. Sartre talked about this in he called man a useless passion. He was an atheist. He thought we all want to cause ourselves. We all want to be our own creator. Philosophical position that is impossible to achieve, to be not only the origin of your being, but kind of this eternal ray of sunshine that has no further need of basing in the world. Kind of eternal, always on, always shining. It's the idea of grounding, to kind of put yourself into that mode where you are sufficient unto yourself, where you are an island, is a desire of humanity. And I think perhaps that's what the story was about. To follow this road that gets you to a point where you find that enough moment. But and that's a big but, is the idea is there's a cycle there, there's a path that it is. There's a spirit that takes you to that. Because the desire is in itself otherworldly. You want to achieve what humanity has always propped up as only God or some supernatural potential actuates. And so I think Alice, the character in the story, she's positioned as a kind of loner who prefers to have no place to call home, who is always searching, and that's her MO. She says at one point, someone asks her, so you seem to prefer it, that you have no home base, that you're always looking for the next thing. And she says, yes, sometimes I scare myself with how much I prefer it. I'm not sure if the philosophical problems in this kind of ambition have a solution, and that's pretty inherent in the posing of the question. Not to get too complicated, but because the character, the will, is striving, and to be self-sufficient is to no longer have will or desire, or to be pure will, which is when you get to the point where you have to ask yourself the questions that underpin everything. And so the journey definitely is worthwhile. This podcast is not, I'm not gonna dismiss it, because the ending, I won't say it falls flat, I'll say it kind of, if your ending is pure question, it's going to be hard to make that satisfying. So I suppose my first reaction was, I don't like this, I think I have to recommend this podcast and say go listen to the Left Right Game. They'll probably make it a movie eventually. They made a TV show out of the other one I liked, Limetown. It was on fucking Facebook TV or whatever the hell that is. But Jessica Biel was in it. I haven't seen the TV show, but that was a really good podcast as well, Limetown. I really love the format. I'm a fan of old-time radio as well, so it's fun to just listen to a story that's dramatized. So check out the Left Right Game, and if you get a chance, play it in real life. I'm sure it's true, I've heard. So first left, next right, eventually you'll come to a tunnel. The hitchhiker, I forget, you either don't pick him up, or you have to pick him up, but don't talk to him. Whatever you do, don't talk to the hitchhiker. So I'll leave you with that advice, and enjoy.